Hi everyone. I want to go over examples of your forum posts for the Learning in Groups activity. Now, we didn't talk at all about layout for those posts. So my discussion here is not to critique anybody's method of posting. It's just to look at them and begin to think about the importance of visual design or layout of your posts and of really all technical and professional communication. As the semester moves on, we'll be paying closer attention. And in fact, for this week, of course, you are practicing with using styles, and this discussion then is related to that. The issue of styles plays into how to make content easy to use, easy to find, easy to look for, what we call scannability, especially in digital formats like the web, where you're looking for information and you're moving very quickly. Scannability, or the ability to find content in a hurry based on headings and subheadings and other layout features, is really important. So as we look through these examples, I think you can see kind of immediately that there's in terms of ease of reading, there's a wide variety of, uh, there's a degree of ease of reading in all of these. And so as we look at this, for example, the first one up here, it's numbered. And so the number corresponds with the number of the question. And then the author has included the example that he or she is exploring. And that's a really good technique. In some cases, people will post things, and they'll say, "Well, he gave us the assignment. He'll know what the question is in response to," and that is true. But as a discipline, as a matter of habit that I'd like you to develop for this course, I want you to say to yourself, "How can I make this as easy as possible for the reader to remember what this assignment is in response to?" And this plays into writing that you do for any workplace setting. Somebody will ask you for information, and you can either send it back without, for example, via email, without changing the subject line so to pique the reader's memory, or you can just send it back and without any orienting information. And then the recipient has to think, sometimes just for a split second, but sometimes for longer. And what we're trying to do as a matter of principle is to avoid those split seconds or those many seconds or those minutes of having to think about what the content is. So this is a very good example of orienting me, your primary reader, and then we have the responses. And then one difference between this example and, let's say, the one down here is that this one is more discursive. We have a nice sentence, and it orients us to say the negative statement, and then as an alternative over here. So this is a good sentence transition. And so there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to make it absolutely just as simple as you possibly can for a reader to find the information, you can see that there is an advantage here in having a bold and then having A and B, which suggests immediately, okay, the writer is answering both of the questions, which is, what's wrong with the example, and number two, what's an alternative way to make that statement. You can see that this example does that with numbers, and so that's nicely done as well. As we scroll down, we can see different approaches. Here, this one this one really does include the original and then negative and then alternative, again, reminding the reader of those two answers. So, using one or more, usually a bold heading and then a line break and then an indentation or a hanging indentation, The fact is Moodle doesn't allow you to make a really appropriate or well-formed hanging indent the way Word does. So you get these line wraps. Strictly speaking, the left-hand margin should be straight here. And then you have a nice visual look to your layout, like this one down here. Okay, so that's the idea. Make it as easy as possible. One of the challenges of doing this kind of work is to overcome habits that we have from other academic disciplines. So if you're writing an essay for an English class, for example, there the norm is to be more discursive, explanatory, and to use chunks of text, paragraphs and paragraph transitions. Whereas the very practical work, task-oriented nature of technical and professional writing asks you to value simplicity and ease of access over subtlety and nuance and the more, I guess, more sophisticated discursive forms of writing. So thanks for listening, and I hope that is helpful. We'll be returning to these themes many times this semester.